Hello and welcome to White Buffalo Radio podcast episode number 1. Today we're going to be talking about how to not blow your brains out during COVID-19. It's a fun subject and I'm really excited to talk about it. I'm going to give some helpful tips and things like that on just how to kind of keep our mental wellness sharp, and to make sure that we are staying safe and making sure that our family and loved ones as well as ourselves are staying healthy and well. This podcast is going to be about basically some of the things that I think are important in life, and I'm going to touch on a lot of life skills, a lot of basically self-help things like that. And like I said, today is basically in regards to suicide prevention. My name is Joseph Flores and I'm your host for White Buffalo podcast, or White Buffalo Radio podcast. And this is my first one. This is my first audio and video combined. I did do an audio earlier and I thought it came out pretty good, but want to add some video to it along with the audio. So let's go ahead and dive right in. Thank you for joining me as well, and let's go. So basically it's pretty difficult right now with the whole social distancing. Our government wants us to stay 6 feet apart, and in order to slow the spread of COVID. And I think that a lot of the things that I'll be going over today can be relevant even during times of just normalcy, when there's not a pandemic going on. And excuse me, and these tips and suggestions can be used in our day-to-day lives, just to maybe combat depression, combat any maybe negative feelings that you might be having, and to stay positive and keep moving forward. I'm going to be talking about a few points that I think are important when talking about suicide and harming yourself. And a few of those points are basically I think kind of common sense. So staying active, I think staying active is one of those points that we'll touch on. I think that another point will be, how to keep, your home safe, keep your environment safe. And then lastly, basically how to stay informed and engaged. Making sure that we ourselves are being informed and engaged with our surroundings, as well as others that are in our circles, and keeping them informed and engaged. So just to start, basically we will experience feelings of maybe depression or feelings of anxiety or increased anxiety right now. I know that there's things that I may think about more just with the more free time that I have, because businesses are locked down. There's not as many things that you could do, so you're kind of left to your own devices. And so it's normal, to have those increased feelings of insecurity, loneliness, sadness, and the increased feeling of anxiety or anxiousness. And, the best way to combat that is with some of these steps that we'll be diving into. And so like, just for example, like step 1, staying active, I think has been huge for me personally, and just combating those feelings that I discussed, with the loneliness and things like that, making sure that we're moving, that we're not left to our own devices, because there's that saying, a blank mind is the devil's playground. I don't know if I'm saying that right or not, but basically though, our mind really is the ultimate puzzle, and we want to make sure that we are filling our mind with good thoughts, good ideas, and healthy thoughts. And one of those things to do that is by staying active. Some examples of me staying active, and hopefully some examples that you could do as well, is things like maybe just taking a walk, going outside and enjoying nature, going outside and breathing in some fresh air, maybe meditating in the morning, first thing in the morning when you wake up, meditating, waking up, breathing, just thanking thanking the world for another day, thanking Creator for another day, and being conscious that you are here and present, and you take a moment just to breathe. Take a moment just to breathe, and accept that we're here today. And then another one would maybe be going for a jog, maybe walking your dog. I enjoy bike riding, I enjoy skateboarding, some of those things. So those will be activities that I do. I go outside, I go skateboard. I'm turning 40 and I still find time to be able to get my deck and go outside and just skate around the neighborhood for a little bit. I have a dog as well, and you'll get to meet Zelda. She's a sweetheart, and Finn, my Frenchie and my pug, and they're really cool creatures, and they are always there for you. And speaking of animals, that's another way to combat that anxiety or that loneliness. I think pets are great. Recently I just got 2 chickens too, Martha and Cleo, and they're awesome, man. I mean, just a couple days ago, I was outside and it was raining, it was pouring, it's come down pretty hard, and the chickens were getting wet, and I run out there and I'm like, oh man, I gotta get them in, I gotta bring them in and put them in their hen house, and so I get Martha, she's soaking wet, I put her in her chicken coop, and then as I'm going to go get Cleo starts playing with me. She starts barking, and she is wanting me to hold her and pet her, and she's not really letting me catch her to put her in the chicken coop. And sure enough, I turn around and there's Martha. Now they're both trying to play with me, and just thinking of that story, actually, it was funny. I could imagine if my son or daughters were looking at me through the window, they wonder, what the heck is Dad doing playing with those chickens in the rain, and I was concerned though, for them. I didn't want them to get sick or something, and I thought bringing them in, but really those chickens are fine, man. They're good. But that was a good way for me to go outside and be active and healthy. Some other things of staying active, I think, is if you have an online presence, gaming, playing video games, talking with your community online. Church is another good one. If you're religious or faith-based, I think that, that higher power definitely always puts our mind a little bit at ease, having faith that there is someone above looking after us and there for us. And so yeah, staying active, again, is super important. And I think that involving others when you're staying active. So not only staying active personally and individually, but staying active with your friends, your family, your coworkers, your neighbors, your local community, and even with your online fan base as well, or online community, being active with them, just letting them know, what's going on and how things are going, even checking in with them, making sure they're doing okay. It's always important to, pick up the phone, give someone a call, FaceTime them, text them, but basically, just being active in nurturing your relationships, nurturing your relationships with your surroundings and your circle that you have. So yeah, I wanted to share a little bit about that and staying active. And again, like I said, this is some common sense stuff, but these are also things that sometimes people struggle with, and I think though the best thing is just to do it. Really, it really is. Just answer that phone, just go outside, plan do a garden or something like that. something that really keeps you going and moving forward. So the next thing, I want to discuss is keeping your home safe. Me personally, I do own some firearms, some knives. You know, People in my household, they do take medication and things like that. So making sure that our medication is up to date, it's not expired, that we're keeping those appointments with our doctors, those wellness checkups, those physicals, even clearing out those cabinets, clearing out the cabinets to make sure that there's no expired medicines, and or maybe that you're getting rid of some medicine that was a lower dose and now you're on an increased dose or something. Making sure that you're cleaning that out and disposing of it properly. And then the other thing, with those firearms and everything, making sure that you're separating your ammunition separate from your firearms, making sure that they're locked up securely, that and maybe any of your children that you may have in the home can't access those. That there's a password security or key or combo that you have to keep those locked, and maybe you yourself only know it and your significant other. And then something that I think, and this kind of goes back to the staying active, but I enjoy cleaning my guns, cleaning my knives, oiling them. And that's also something that's very therapeutic, very healing, relaxing. It's almost, like a form of meditation too, similar to gardening, similar to maybe building a model car, painting that model car, all those things. That's what goes into safely securing and caring for firearms, knives, when you're doing those things like that. And also it gives you more of a connection with your firearm and a respect for those firearms, because they're not toys, they're not something that should be misused. They should be treated with respect because they're dangerous. I enjoy shooting. I enjoy going recreationally. I teach my kids how to use our firearms in the house, but I secure them safely, and I maintain them. I keep them in order, just like you would maybe your car, your vehicle. Checking, making sure the oil's good, the water levels are good, antifreeze. Washing it, keeping it clean. You want to do the same for your firearms. So just another suggestion, with how to keep things safe in your home, keep them away from your children and maybe any other people that may be in your house, keeping them locked and stored in a secure place. So that's the step number 2, and our final step 3, basically on how to combat suicide, or and I say it jokingly, but how to not blow your brains out during COVID-19. Because we for sure don't want to do anything drastic and take our own life. So we want to make sure that we're doing the best to keep our minds safe and sharp. And these are some of the steps that are going to help us do that. So lastly, staying active, staying engaged and informed. So it's basically, when I say stay informed, stay engaged, what you're doing is you're, in a sense, you yourself are staying informed with what's going on with your health, making sure that you're receptive to what your body's telling you or what your mind's telling you. Maybe one day you wake up a little sluggish. Well, maybe that means, you're hungry. Maybe you're dehydrated. Maybe you didn't take your vitamins, the night before or something. Or maybe you didn't get enough sleep. There's signs, though, that we could be looking for. And not only individually we need to stay conscious of that, but I think the people that are around you should stay conscious of that as well. They should stay informed, and by keeping them informed, that keeps you safe, So making sure that you're definitely checking in on yourself constantly, making sure that you're checking in with what your body's feeling, what your mind's feeling, and then making sure that your family, your loved ones, your friends are aware of what's going on. And it goes both ways, checking on those people that are around you, checking on those people that care about you or that you care about, and making sure that they're doing well and safe. And I think what happens is, as we build these, really healthy habits, that it almost becomes second nature. These are things that maybe we don't have to think about anymore. I still struggle, with answering the phone sometimes. Sometimes I don't feel like answering the phone, or sometimes I don't feel like reaching out to someone. And I really have to push myself to just pick up the phone, give them a call, check on how they're doing. These don't have to be like hour conversations. They don't have to be, like lengthy things. It's just, hey, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Oh my gosh, that's great to hear. And glad to hear from you. And then you hang up, and that leaves a good impression with the person that you're checking in on, and then also that maybe puts that in their ear, like, oh, you know what, I'm gonna check on Joseph here down the road, make sure everything's going well with him. I remember my cousin and her and I used to just check on her, and I told her one day, I think it was at her wedding or something, and I said, she's like, well, we haven't talked, and it's been a while. And I said, just call me anytime, text me anytime. I said, just call and say, hey, how you doing? Are you alive? Because I think that's important. And it was kind of a running theme where as soon as she would call me, she'd say, are you alive? Okay, good. All right, I'm just checking. And we laugh about that, but it's she still to this day checks on me, and I check on her. And we have kids now, so we try to do activities that involve the kids as well, going hiking and things like that. But it's okay to let someone know, hey, would you mind checking on me every now and then, or just making sure I'm okay, and that's all right. And I think that opens up the dialogue for them to even express those maybe similar feelings. We're definitely not the only ones going through this with these feelings of despair or lack of hope. So open up, reach out to those people, and inform yourself and inform them. And then along with that comes the engagement. Being engaged in your community, being engaged in your church, your family, your household, engaged in your own life. We have to take a conscious effort to engage in our body and our mind and our soul. We have to be active with that. And I think in turn, that creates the ability for others to be active in your life and in their lives. I know that in my community, in my home, my neighborhood, my neighbors know that we're outside skateboarding, we're